A man and a satyr once poured out libations together in token of a band of alliance being formed between them. One very cold wintry day, as they talked together, the man put his fingers to his mouth and blew in them. On the satyr inquiring the reason of this, he told him that he did this to warm his hands. They were so cold. Later on in the day, they were down to eat. The food prepared was quite scalding. The man raised one of the dishes a little towards his mouth and blew in it. On the satyr again inquiring the reason of this, he said that he did it to cool the meat, for it was so hot. Titian. I am no longer I can no longer consider you as a friend, said the satyr, a fellow who with the same breath blows hot and cold. He was first man, extraordinary man, the first man banned in Boston. He was the first American foreclosed on by a company. He was the first American to publish a fart joke and the first American to publish a dick joke. He was also the first American accused of being a traitor. He's the first bad neighbor throwing a wild party in recording American history. His name was Thomas Morton, but he would have wanted us to call him Tom. This is a story, if you knew the story of Marquis de Sade, and how even today his books are banned. Because if you read him and you know what he says, you know he's not what he says, but 12-year-old Tom must have been terrified when the Spanish Armada cut through the waves almost inside of England's shore. Like every other Brit, he knew the mighty ships carry the terrors of the Inquisition. But the King of Spain forested the Spanish countryside for nothing. So was born the delusion of invincibility that built the empire on which the sun never set. Nothing unusual about Tom as a boy. He was middle gentry, so he learned to love the bold comedy of the Athenian playwrights, Euripides, and the dry wit of the Roman philosopher Cicero. He learned to hunt when his skills included taming and training hawks and falcons. He learned to use swords and guns, not to mention wine, women, and song. He studied the law and became a lawyer, moving in circles by worldly poetry of John Donne. Tom even attended Queen Elizabeth's Christmas gala. Torchlit barges floated in procession over the Thames. Cavalry exercises dazzled spectators in the streets of London. Dramatic tongue-in-cheek proclamations include ban and mighty meats. Blustery declarations affectionately mocked the mysterious potions of alchemists like the Queen's own court wizard John Dee. Sir Francis Bacon gave a stirring speech. These theatrical performances of dance and poetry featured the earliest contributions of a couple of young writers about to revolutionize European theater, Ben Jonson and William Shakespeare. Towards the end, the Mask of God of Healing ordered cures of musical charms for such troubles of lost virginity and old age. Finally, a player named Paradox mocked ancient Athens, modern religious fanatics, and everything in between. Then they raised a maypole, even though it was Christmas. But this was also London, where Tom had to dodge the plague twice, while returning war veterans and the poor mass dissenters making powerful nervous. England's population was doubling, despite the years of disastrous crop failures. Tom was 27 when Gun Queen Bass, who had reigned all his life at all long, last died. As Tom turned 30, the country was shocked by Guy Fawkes and the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament. And even that not only eventually spawned the English Civil War, it also inspired a movie that made a mask on the symbol of today's enigmatic anonymous movement. At age 30, Tom couldn't have imagined the adventures of the enemies awaiting him far-off lands. This quiet and average fellow would become so notorious he was all but written out of American history. For years, Tom rode his lawyer's circuit between Devonshire and London. Well, in the middle, he met a married wealthy widow. But her eldest son was suspicious of his lawyer's stepfather, and so, even though his inheritance was legally protected, he took his mother to court, selling off many of her possessions to demonstrate his power over her. Meanwhile, Tom had been granted power ownership of the land patent for the planted colony in New England. We don't know why he chose to abandon the practice and his wife to go to America. From his later writings, it seems he hoped to first make the fortune and return to her. Certainly his absence would make her life with her son at least more civil. The lad was destined to become a Puritan, and Tom had no idea the generous gap running his marriage was a hint, a civil war still 20 years away. Tom wasn't the only Brit excited by the idea of exploring the continent. Sir Walter Raleigh bragged after Virginia's Maidenhead. Tom later wrote in a bit horny posy worthy of American bards like Whitman and Ginsberg. License my roving hands and let them go before, behind, between, above, below, my America.